So I get a lot of questions every single day in my comments, and I do try to answer them all. I thought it was time to do your fragrance questions answered again, and this is basically where I take some of your questions and answer them in a video. Let's do this. Before I begin, if you want me to do more videos like this, then please drop a like on this video. Thank you, I really do appreciate it, and make sure you hit that subscribe. So the first question is, which one do you prefer, Ambre Nuit or Grand Soir? So I will never ever forget the first time I put my nose to Dior Ambre Nuit. This was pre-COVID, and this was when Dior had those sort of porcelain cups with a small handle on them, and basically in those cups they had the fragrance sprayed in. So I took that thing, put it to my nose, and just inhaled. And I pretty much stood there for like a full minute, just completely falling in love with it. I absolutely love Dior Ambre Nuit, and I'm probably in a minority on this one, but I would choose Ambre Nuit. With that said, I do feel they are quite different scents, and I also feel that Grand Soir is a great fragrance. So next up, a question about Parfums de Marly Pegasus. What are your thoughts on Parfums de Marly Pegasus for a summer date night or clubbing, as I don't think it's that unique. So Pegasus is one of my fragrances for life, and I think it's a fantastic scent. And I know some do not feel that it's a unique fragrance, but I think it is. But it is one of those fragrances that you will most likely either fall in love with or don't enjoy it at all. I do think it can be used for summer nights and for going out. However, I mostly reach for Pegasus fall, winter, and spring. I absolutely love Pegasus. However, I do think you sort of already answered your own question. You mentioned how you don't think this is a unique scent. So considering that, and the fact that Pegasus is not a cheap scent, I do think that maybe it's better that you go for something else, something that you actually love, and something that is more unique to you. So next up, a question about Azzaro The Most Wanted or Parfum Intense. Do you think Azzaro The Most Wanted EDP is the best in the line? So I should really do like a complete wanted comparison, but like a quick one. The OG is underrated, but it's not great. The latest EDT Intense is not a bad one, but I felt it lacked something and I was a bit underwhelmed. Wanted by Night is a great scent, and the Parfum is almost as wicked as the Eau de Parfum, but the EDP is definitely my favorite. So yes, the Eau de Parfum Intense is definitely my favorite in the Wanted line. So next up, a question about 3 freshes for a vacation. Dior Homme Cologne, Chanel Allure Edition Blanche, or Kenzo Homme Marine. The temp is going to be about 32 degrees on average. So all 3 are fantastic scents, and I do think that all of them would work. However, they are quite different kind of freshes. It's almost like a toss-up between those 3. However, I would probably go with either Dior Homme Cologne or Kenzo Homme Marine, because I do feel that their kind of freshness is more intense and more refreshing when it's really warm outside. So next up, a question about the bad boy fragrances. Which of the bad boy fragrances is actually the best today? So I did a bad boy comparison video some time ago. I'm gonna link to it above, so feel free to check it out. The new bad boy Cobalt Elixir is not in that video though. And I think that, like right now, if I would sort of compare them all, I do think that I would probably place Bad Boy Cobalt Elixir on second place after Bad Boy Extreme. But with that said, I do think that I might need to do a comparison of these two. Let me know in the comments if you would like me to do a comparison of these two. So next up, a question about 2 1 millions. 1 million Royal versus Elixir. Which one? Please suggest. So I highly recommend checking out my fragrance battle videos that I've done on YouTube Shorts. These 2 have been in one of them. While I absolutely love Elixir, it's a wicked compliment getter by the way, I do enjoy Royal more. Both are fantastic scents though. So the next question is about fresh and woody scents for daily use in summer. What are some good ones? So there are quite a few good ones to choose from, but the Dior Sports Woody and Fresh mix is a great one. Another one that some feel is generic is Parfums de Marly's Percival. I absolutely love it though, and this is one of my fragrances for life. The OG Born Aroma is a great mix of freshness, woodiness, and something sweet. And it's a complimentary fragrance I feel it's hard to go wrong with. And one of my favorites for everyday use throughout the year, including summer, is YSOY EDP. Woody, aromatic, spicy, and citrusy fresh with a sexy dose of fruitiness. Can't ever go wrong with YEDP. I hope this helps. So the next question is about layering. How are you layering? So I would finally hopefully release the first of many videos that are focused on fragrance layering, because I absolutely love layering fragrances. But basic fragrance layering is actually very easy. You basically take one fragrance and spray it on, and then you layer another fragrance on top of it. The goal here is basically to combine 2 or more fragrances to come up with something different and exciting. Which fragrances I combine and my goals when layering are almost always different. As an example, sometimes I want to enhance the woodiness of one fragrance by layering it with another woody scent. And sometimes I want to create contrast or sort of a balance things up. So as an example, let's say I have a very sweet fragrance and I want to sort of balance that sweetness up. Then I might combine it with something that does just that. And I also sort of tried to rescue scents that I blind bought and that I felt lacked something by sort of combining them with fragrances that are richer and different. Now, how many sprays of each fragrance is so different and really depends on which kind of fragrances you are trying to combine. But I do suggest starting out with your base layer, i.e. your first fragrance, and then adjusting your sprays of the second fragrance by adding it one at a time until you feel it's enough. Most important of all, when it comes to fragrance layering, have fun. So next up, another question about Azzaro The Most Wanted Eau de Parfum. Would you say that this is a good night out fragrance? Yes, absolutely. I do feel that The Most Wanted, the Eau de Parfum, is among some of the best for date nights and going out. So next up, how are your frags not clashing throughout the day? I'm so paranoid to create a mess. So this comment was on one of my current favorite fragrances video, where I shared that I often spray on anywhere from 2 to 4 different fragrances on a single day. So if I spray on something extremely heavy and long lasting, then I might wait a bit until I spray on the second one. But with that said, a lot of fragrances are really not that super strong, so sort of a clashes is really not an issue. And in my experience, the transition between the dry down of one fragrance and the opening of the new one is quite exciting. And I rarely get something I feel sort of a clashes. More often it's the other way around, where I get something fantastic from the dry down of one fragrance combined with the opening of the new one. There's absolutely nothing to be paranoid about. And I do suggest to just start by using one fragrance and then after a few hours spray on your second fragrance and just see how they develop on your skin. Hopefully you might experience the same as me, in that the dry down of one combined with the opening of another is a nice one. If you try it out, please do share how it went. So next up, a question about Shampoo Gaultier Le Beau. Do you think you could wear Le Beau, the Eau de Toilette, to school? Absolutely yes. Le Beau, in a nutshell, is basically like a mix of freshness and sweetness with coconut in a very mass appealing blend. If you want to smell like this, then go for it. Always wear what makes you feel good. Freshness can definitely be worn throughout the year, and while I do wear Le Beau, the EDT, throughout the year, it's mostly a fragrance I reach for more during the warmer months. For everyday use, I often prefer scents that are a mix of aromatic, citrusy or spicy freshness with a bit of woodiness and something sort of a sweet to it. So next up we have a question about Carolina Herrera Bad Boy Extreme. I want to purchase Bad Boy Extreme, but the chocolate note scares me because I have Givenchy Dente in my Reserve Privé and it just smells like boozy chocolate to me. I don't like it very much. I don't want that to happen again. Do you recommend this? I do love Bad Boy Extreme. However, I do not recommend it if you do not enjoy the scent of cacao in fragrances. There are so many fantastic fragrances out there, so many different kinds of fantastic fragrances out there. So if you know that you don't enjoy something like a note or like a specific kind of scent, then just avoid that and go for something else instead in order to avoid being disappointed. So next up, a question about storing fragrances. Do you think keeping your fragrances in the fridge is a good idea? So my answer to that is no. I do not think storing fragrances in a cold place like a fridge is a good idea. There's really no need for that, and it might actually affect the fragrance in a negative way. The best and least complicated way is to simply store your fragrance away from heat sources and sunlight, and to try to store them in a dark and cool place at room temperature. So the next question is about maceration. How do you macerate a fragrance? So maceration to me is a very simple process, and a process where I'm actually not doing something complicated. So almost all fragrances change a bit over time. The more you use them, the older the bottle, the more it might change. But some fragrances that are brand new do need a bit of usage or maceration to sort of develop properly. And I have quite a few fragrances that changed quite a lot if I compare the very first spray to how it smelled like a day or a week or a month after. So macerating a fragrance is actually quite easy. All you do is this. So you spray like 5, 10 or 15 times and then you put it away. Now there's no specific sort of a time frame on how long you should put it away for. Like try it after 2 weeks, try it after a month or so and see if it has changed. That's the most common sort of a method of macerating a fragrance. And while I also do that, the most common thing I do is to simply use a fragrance. That's why I say in many of my videos that a fragrance might need a bit of usage to develop. Simply using a fragrance speeds up the process, and most fragrances, but not all, smells better by doing so. And like 9 times out of 10, there's quite a noticeable difference within just a day or two. So you can macerate by spraying your new fragrance a few times and then store it in a cool place, or try my other method, which is really not sort of a maceration, but basically accomplishes the very same thing. Like and subscribe, make sure you check out the videos over there, and I'll see you in the next one.